All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another deck profile video. This time we have a really cool one, which is Purple Hybrid, which is going to be a favorite for this format. I can tell you right now that it will be. Now, I typically am not a purple player. I feel like there's just too many mechanics that I don't really like for it to like really be something that I want to play. However, this doesn't feel like that much purple. It's definitely got some purple aspects, but there's also a lot of stuff that I find really cool. The fact that there's hybrids. This also uses the Loogamon engine to kind of cheat out some tamers, which work together with each other really well. So I'm gonna go over this. I'm gonna tell you some stuff that's more common than what I have built. Just gonna mention that. And the cool thing about this type of deck is that it's very versatile. You can have all types of different things happening in it. So let's start with the Digi Eggs. First, we run four of the Cupimon, which on deletion, by trashing one card in your hand, you gain one memory. Very much a purple situation there. And the memory is going to come up a lot. You're going to need memory super often with this deck. Remember that the blue purple hybrids, the latest ones, often must evolve for three, or you need just memory to pull off some combos. That one additional memory can be a big situation that can help your game state. I also run one Demi Miramon. You don't have to run this fifth one. I'm just kind of trying it out. I think you could do four QPs and be okay, but some of my games usually go long. So one Demi Mira, just for me. Next, of course, we run four of the Loogamon. Loogamon, like I mentioned, is gonna be able to place AGs. There's of course AGs in this deck, some of the tamers, um, to gain another memory. So you could potentially gain a couple of memory just between the eggs, the Loogamon, and put a tamer down, which is a really nice combo to have. Remember, we're not gonna be doing SOC and Dark Animal stuff. So this Lugamon's whole job is literally just to put a tamer with inheritables on the board, and maybe gain one memory, right? That memory, like I mentioned, is going to be super important. Another card that does gain you memory, if your opponent has a Digimon, that would be Gabumon here. You promote it. If your opponent has a Digimon, you gain one memory. If you want to swing with it and get the Cupimon ability, you can also do that and gain an additional memory. And remember, because of the combos and the tamer stuff, you are going to be hopefully starting with even more memory because maybe you set up a tamer or whatnot. So Gabumon here is my second rookie that I run. I run one Gazimon. There are quite a lot of floodgates that you got to deal with. Um, I just like to have one Gazi just in case I need it, just to punish my opponent. I'm running one Ukamon, but most people would probably run four. That's all right. It's up to you. So I'm going more of a memory build with the Gabumons, but if you were to replace all the Gabumons with Ukamons, for example, that's also something that you could do. Ukamon searching for tamers and or Digimon may come in handy to you. I'm just doing one. I just hate paying the one memory and having less memory to start off with. Um, but I mean, if you're kind of not that lucky, you could definitely be using this Ukamon. Also run the one of Ukamon that's restricted to one. He's just turbocharges, gains memory, all of that stuff. Works in tandem with the other tamers to gain memory is really nice to have. Of course, hatching eggs means you get to speed up faster. So I like that aspect of this. I also run one Pokemon. I've seen multiple people run multiple Pokemons, especially if you decide to take away the rookie engine and just go for something like D Reaper with Shoto, for example. Then you would probably want to hard play Pokemons that in that type of build. I'm not doing that. I think that's really toxic. So I'm not gonna do the Reaper Shoto combo, although I could and probably be okay with it. But I run one Pokemon in this one for the searching five, picking up a tamer and a hybrid is really good here. We're gonna move into the tamers. I usually don't do this, but tamers are really important to have them in mind. We run three of the AG from BT14. That if your opponent has a Digimon, you gain one memory. Of course, you can mind lick with the dark animals and SOC traits, give you alliance, blocker, all of that stuff. I really love having a Lugamon out there and maybe having one of the aces or hybrids that this deck can pull off and alliancing with them. I think that's hilarious because your Lugamon is now swinging for big damage using alliance into your opponent and doing a couple of different checks. And then, of course, at the end of the turn, you can detach the AG, and now you have an AG on the board. Speaking of AG, here's the other AG. We have three of the Memory Setter AG with the Inheritable Of course, this card also gets to be put on by Loogamon. You place it under. It also does the Alliance. It is really nice to be able to put this for free using the Loogamon. That's the ideal play to have here. Of course, you can also have multiple AGs and trash some. Um, in some situations, you definitely want to have some cards in trash. Specifically, the Kojis might be something you want to trash with the later cards that we'll talk about. This Koji, of course, draws one and trashes one. You are going to be trashing cards. You are going to be doing that. So we have a lot of tamers just in case you need to trash. You can trash tamers. And sometimes with the Rihimon, which we'll talk about later, you can definitely put some on the board that way. So don't be afraid to put tamers in the trash. There's a lot of tamers in this build that you would use here, right? So AG, we have four Kojis, and then I have three of the new Koji. Sorry, and like I said, we are going to be running a lot of tamers. Do not be afraid to send these to the trash. Rihimon can put them back on, and it's not a bad thing. This Koji is the trashes one card and gain one memory. So you will be trashing cards. If you want to run stuff that does well with cards getting trashed from your hand, you can do that, but this is not a build that does that. So here's all the tamers we have. Lots of tamers, lots of rookies, lots of stuff like that. We run the obligatory 4 Dustmon. This guy is super key, as well as the Velgramon. Both of these cards are amazingly good. I'm gonna pull them up because of them. They both Digivolve of Koichi for 2, or from a regular purple tamer for 3, so you can go off the AG and Belgramon, and like I said, you might need that memory to Digivolve here. If you're not familiar with the combo typically is that Duskmon will Digivolve onto Koichi first, and when Digivolving, change the color of one of your opponent's Digimon to something other than white. Then you can declare an attack with Duskmon and reduce the cost of Digivolving by 1. Velgramon from Duskmon is usually 1, so this would be a free Digivolution. Then, when Digivolving for each color of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers, both of them, you trash a card from both players' decks, and then for each effect trash, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 for the turn. That's for each card trash in both. So if your opponent had one color on the board, you change the color using Duskmon. Now they have 2 colors. Both players trash 2 cards. A total of 4 cards have been trashed, and Velgramon is now swinging for 11k. That's really nice to have. And then, of course, at the end of the attack, by deleting a level 4 or lower purple Digimon, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. If there is only one Digimon, of course, that means that this Velgramon would kill whatever is on the board. If there are multiple Digimon, then you'll just kill the lowest level, of course, but it would be all of them. This combo is really good, really nice. And of course, on deletion, Duskmon's Inheritable may play a Tamer with a play cost of 4 or less from your trash without paying the cost. So if you have any of these cards in the trash, which you may have done trashing earlier with the other cards, you can put that Tamer back on the board. Of course, the card, if you have a Koichi under it, that Koichi can also be played. So this Velgramon combo, super powerful, big key to the deck. Definitely need 4 and 4 of it. Next, I run 3 Loogamons. There's, of course, also Jiwa for cheaper off of Koichi, and 3 off of any other purple Tamer or Rookie. This is not the one that you need 4 of, but it is nice to have. In fact, this is one that you could definitely maybe pitch if you want to onto the trash, and maybe make one of your other Digimon Digivolve cheaper for it using the Duskmon if that's the play that you have available to you. Just 3 of the Lowy. 2 of the Kaiser Leomon, that the new one, of course. This one does have retaliation and it deletes 4 or lower, but if you put it in the trash, there's a good chance you could Digivolve into it for free using the Duskmon, for example, or the Loemon's ability as well. Remember that these cards are Digivolving from the trash or placing things from the trash onto the board. You definitely want to make sure that you have that on the trash. 2 of the Kaiser Leos, the older ones, the BT7, they could just go for 1 onto any level 4. So all of your Digimon here can definitely go into Kaiser for cheaper. And of course, it makes it easier to go into Rihimon if you have the Kaisermon available to you. Just like I was talking about, we do have to run 4 of the Rihimon. It can go. You can place a Loemon and a Kaiser Leo from your trash under one of your purple or yellow tamers to Digivolve into this card for a cost of 3. That's really good. You can go into it. It does have a jamming innate to it. And then when Digivolving, you may play a tamer with inheritables from your trash. If any of your inheritable Tamers, which is every single one of them in this build, are in the trash. You could just play it with Rikimon and then swing jamming, which is really nice. You won't necessarily die, but if you do, you maybe have some undeletion effects under, which are really nice, right? Rikimon's really cool. You'll notice that it is yellow, and I'll mention it right now because this card is yellow. A lot of the combos are gonna be turning the level 6 into yellow. Mine are not necessarily all yellow like that. But if you're wondering why Sendromon or cards like level 6 yellows are being sold, it it is likely that they're gonna go on top of this something like this Rihimon, and I'll tell you why. For example, if you have Rihimon, you manage to pull off the combo. It's still your turn, and you swing jamming. Jamming means that this card will likely stay alive. If you go into Sendromon, the yellow puppet, right, and it's already suspended, you will play a puppet, and then it can overclock and swing into your opponent again. So, Syndromon in this deck is the call for many people. I happen to not have any, but I don't know if I would run it even if I had it. But that is the build that I've seen most often. Is Rihimon into Sendro to double tap, one check jamming, one overclock swing, both very damaging to your opponent, right? You definitely don't want to take that double tap. But that is typically the play that you want to do with something like this build. Not a whole lot of other level 5s, but I do run Metal Garurumon on Ace. I just simply prefer to having the Ace situation. I like keeping my opponent from knowing what I do. I know the overclock can end the game, but Metal Garurumon on Ace can steal away your opponent's turn. I like to do that if they don't have enough memory like that, or if they have made calculations using the memory. Metal Garurumon on Ace can catch them maybe unaware, maybe not ready for the memory steal, and then of course you may trash a card to delete your opponent's lowest level. That's also something that works really well with this deck, the way it's built. So I like to use aces generally speaking. Metal Garurumon Ace seems to be the one that works really well for me, particularly here. I run one Bancho Leomon. It is yellow, so it can Digivolve for 4 of the Rihimon. When Digivolving, suspend an opponent's Digimon, and then all turns when a Digimon becomes suspended, you can have one of your opponent's Digimon gain minus 4,000 as well as security check +1. That's really nice. It's all turns. And you can, of course, reduce the play cost by 5 if both of the players have 6 or fewer security. So this can, even if this is stuck in your hand, by the time it's late in the game, you could play it for cheaper, suspend an opponent, minus 4k it, minus security check it, and protect yourself a little bit with Bancho. I just like the fact that it can do that. Um, Death X, I mean, need I say more? It's Death X. You might want to counter. Maybe you're playing a mirror match. Maybe you're playing whiteboards. Maybe things haven't been getting deleted as often as you want. Death X. Just I run one. I just like to have it in this build. I run one Rivals Barrage. When if this card is trashed from the deck, there is a lot of deck trashing here. Um, you get to delay this card and return a purple Digimon or Tamer from your trash to your hand. So you have the choice of like maybe later in the game picking something up that you might need. And of course, it also works as a delete your Digimon with your opponent's Digimon with the highest level. You might need some deletion. Maybe some of the deletion wasn't enough, right? Maybe the Buggermon swing killed a smaller Digimon, but you wanted to target the bigger one. Well, now you have Rival Barrage and you could get rid of it. So I have one Rival Barrage that kind of really works well. I would say that if you're running something like the D Reaper Shoto combo, you could probably run a couple more of these in the deck. Maybe even more of the other option, which I'll mention right now, is Jack Raid. You are going to end up with a lot of cards in trash. Jack Raid helps you gain some memory, as I mentioned. Memory sometimes might be really, really needed. And of course, Jack Raid will be one of those cards that helps you gain some memory, especially later in the game. And of course, the hidden security, you'll gain some memory. I can see people running a couple of these. That's not a bad thing to have. Now, that is the build of the 50. But like I said, there's a lot of things that can work with this deck. Like I mentioned, you can go into yellows, you can go into yellow aces, purple aces, level 6s, that type of stuff. Um, you could go a little bit more purple heavy. You could go Ukamon if you wanted to. You could add a Louis if you want to power out more rookies throughout the game. You could do D Reaper base and just forget about the lower end. These are all versatile deck that you can work with. Purple and yellow is really cool combo to put together. I just really like the Loogamon getting out tamers for cheap or free, and then if you have the tamer, sorry, the memory gaining from the babies and the rookies. All of that works really well together. Um, this is my build, but again, I wouldn't be surprised to see other people have like uh, more efficient builds. I think Sendromon is really good. If I had some, maybe I would include one, but I don't, so I can't do it. But that's usually the better, or rather, a more efficient way of using the space in the card deck. Well, that's it for this deck profile. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions or any comments, leave them down there, and make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.